Shalom and welcome to Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Today we're looking at Numbers chapter 6, and the title of this video is The Nazarite Vow. And on on a lesser note, the Aaronic blessing, which thankfully there's not too many differences there. But let's look at this chapter. First, there's 27 verses, and we're going to just cover everything because this chapter is pretty heavy. So I'm not going to omit anything for the purpose of the content in here. It's very content heavy. V2, we see this is a memory verse. Let me read it in the Masoretic first, the whole thing. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate unto Yahweh. And then let's look at, so separate, the major difference here, we're going to see it. Speak to the children of Israel, and thou shalt say to them, whatsoever man or woman shall specially vow a vow to separate oneself with purity to Yah. So that's a big difference, a major difference, that it's not just separating oneself, making a vow of a Nazarite. That's not what Nazarite, we'll get into that later, but it's not just a vow of a Nazarite to separate themselves. It is a vow to separate oneself with purity, with purity. So that's a big difference there. One is no purity; it's just separate. The other one has purity. There's a connotation of uh, of not being corrupt, of being right with Yah. Verse 4, we see here wine from the grape stones. What those are simply the grapes. They're called grape stones. Uh, we see they're called kernels in the Masoretic. And when you think of corn, yeah, those little pieces of corn are kernels. So the kernels of grapes would be the grape stones. That's the parallel there. Verse 5, we see a big difference. Cherishing, talking about the one who does the vow. He shall be set apart, cherishing the long hair of the head. So he's going to cherish it. He's going to take care of it and might be happy about it, even kind of like Absalom. So let's look at the Masoretic. It says, he shall be set apart and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. That's redundant because a razor shall not come upon his head. So you don't need to say that it's going to grow. But there's a big difference between somebody just letting their hair grow and just, force, you got to let your hair grow, man, versus someone saying, oh, I love my hair. I cherish it. I'm going to take care of it. I love it. It's happy, makes me happy. Not that it's happy. I'm happy because of it. Verse 6, come nigh. He shall not come nigh to any dead body, versus he shall not come at no dead body. So there's many connotations because of our modern vernacular, and also because of the parallel verse where it says, come not at your wives. People take that to mean no sexual relations. So, you know what? The Septuagint does not leave room for this kind of perverted interpretation of this word here. I'm not going to say it, but pretty much having relations with those who are no longer alive. Okay, verse 7, the vow of Elohim is upon his head, versus the consecration of his Elohim is upon his head. So it's not just that he's set apart, it's a vow. It's something he had to decide to do. And it's, I guess a covenant would be a similar term, not that it's exact, but it's a vow, that a personal, like a promise he's made, he or she. Verse 9, I have a question here. If anyone should die suddenly by him, okay, what does this mean? Does this mean that if the person taking the vow kills a person, or is it simply someone who died in close proximity to him, in terms of proxemics, distance? So that's a question I pose for experts and for yourselves. If you have the answer, please let me know in the comments below. Personally, I am leaning towards the latter, that it would be someone in close proximity to him. Um, on the other hand, I'm also open to the possibility of it being someone killed by him, since it is not worded in either translation as suddenly, if any man. Let me rewind. It does not say in any of the versions here, any of these two, the Masoretic or the Septuagint, that it is a death that occurs near him. It says by him, so that denotes responsibility, that it came from him, that it's something that they are the author of. They've caused this death. Um, since murder is illegal and against the Torah, against the law of Yah, the penalty would be death for murder, not simply cutting off of hair. So that's the argument for the proxemics, for a death occurring in close proximity to. However, this individual is most likely one who is devoted to the Torah, is well familiar with what Yah expects, so they will not be committing murder. However, if they perchance defend themselves and kill somebody out of self defense or defending someone else, then perhaps this is what the penalty will be. They will have to shave their head. And we know Samson killed thousands of people, but he never shaved his head as a result. It's only when it was done by force and he was unconscious and unaware that his hair is being cut. Okay, so that's all for that verse. It's quite a heavy verse. And then the next one, oh, the last part of the verse, seventh day, he shall be purified. Okay. On the seventh day, he shall be shaved. So is this talking about 7 days from when the death occurs, the individual that dies by him? Or is this talking about the seventh day Sabbath? I'm not sure. I don't have all the answers, so I'm going to leave that question open for interpretation. Verse 12, the former days shall not be reckoned. It says here, the former days shall not be reckoned. So uh, it says here, he shall sanctify his head in that day. Okay. So this sounds like, uh, okay, let me just rewind a little bit, get the context here. In the eighth day, okay, so it's 7 days. In the eighth day, we'll bring 2 turtle doves. The priest shall offer a sin offering. The priest will make atonement for him in respect to wherein he sinned. So he missed the mark respecting the dead body. So it could be someone close to him or a family member, and he defiled himself because of that. That's another interpretation, besides the other two I offered. And he shall sanctify his head on that day in which he was consecrated to Yah, the days of his vow. And he shall bring a lamb of a year old for a trespass offering, and the former days shall not be reckoned. So the first days will not be recognized because the head of his vow was polluted, versus uh, shall be lost. The days that were before shall be lost. Okay, no, they won't be lost. Days don't just vanish and the past is forgotten, like erased. No, it shall not be reckoned. They will not be counted. I think that's how it is probably better understood now that I really think about it. It's not just recognized; they won't be counted. So that's an interesting thing. Let me make a note here. Shall not be counted. I'll put that in brackets as a possible interpretation. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but okay. Let's keep going. Him that has vowed. That's how they describe this individual. Him that has vowed. Oh, I can't find it. Where is he? This is the law of him that has vowed versus this is the law of the Nazarite. Again, this is a Hebrew term, And a lot of times when we see Hebrew term, it obfuscates, it conceals the true meaning. It prevents understanding in some ways. So instead of me just saying, go outside and drink some water, I could say, oh, go drink some miso. You don't know what I'm talking about because it's a different language. But if I just tell you drink water, then you know what to drink. So I think it's a little disingenuous that they hide a lot of words behind these this language. I'm not saying it's a bad language. I'm saying that I don't see the need for that. But anyway, it's to me it's just cryptic. It just makes things more cryptic and coded and prevents the laity, the lay people, the regular people from understanding the Bible in its fullness. So anyway, it is him that is vowed. And the big difference here, we will see he shall bring himself, he shall himself bring his gift versus he shall be brought. Okay, so this person who has vowed, we're gonna call them the votary because that's how it describes him in this chapter. The votary shall bring himself. Shall sorry, in the Masoretic he's bringing himself. Yeah, so he's the one presenting, being presented. On the other hand, the Septuagint is saying no, he's not bringing it. He isn't the gift. He's bringing his gift. He's bringing a offering or a gift, whatever it is, but it is a gift. That's how it's described. I'm not going to insert my own interpretation, but it is a gift. Uh, the next verse confirms the Septuagint is correct. Let's look. Okay, what is this gift? He is bringing a he lamb. Oh, there's the gift. But no, it's saying he shall offer his offering. So it's saying, no, 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 he's the gift. He's still the gift. He's going to be brought and then he's going to offer his offering. So he's offering himself and this offering of the he lamb. No, they are one and the same, ladies and gentlemen. They're the one and the same. His gift is the he lamb of a year old and one ewe lamb of a year old. So he's bringing one of each gender. Notice it's not bring one, choose one. It's saying you bring one he lamb and one ewe lamb. So uh, I think it says that in both versions. And let's see. Yeah, so that's all. And then verse 15, loaves versus cakes, cakes versus wafers. Okay. Verse 18, he that has vowed, we see that he that has vowed again versus the Nazarite. Verse 18, yeah, he that has vowed. So the word Nazarite comes from a root word in Hebrew that means separated one or singled out one or dedicated one. Uh, another modern word for this term, we have a word for this. It is saint, the word saint. So we could pretty much say, okay, and the saint shall shave the head. No, is that good enough? It's not. Why? Because a saint isn't necessarily one that makes a vow. Yeah, they're separated to, yeah, they've been called out, they've been dedicated, but no, a vow is different because they had to make a decision themselves. It's not simply one sided where Yah called them out and they had, uh, it's more of it's a two-way street, yes, but they're not just set apart. They have made a vow. It's special. It's more special. I would argue it's more special than just being a separated one. You can be a separated one, but doesn't mean you are one that has vowed. But if you are one that is vowed, you are a separated one because I believe only the separated ones will make this vow and will be acceptable to make the vow. You can't make a vow if you haven't been called and set apart by Elohim. That's my opinion. Okay. Continuous difference. Uh, the word here, they describe the individual as the votary. So it's not the Nazarite. That's a falsity. The Nazarite is actually closer to the word saint. So votary is someone who vows, the one who vows or vowed. Uh, could be male, could be female. Okay. Doesn't necessarily have to be a man. And versus the Nazarite. And then we see uh, after he has shaved his holy hair. So set apart hair versus his separation. Okay, what is his separation? We don't know. The only reason they know is because of the Septuagint. And isn't that disingenuous? Disingenuous. Verse 20, present them. So the priest will present these items, the cake, the hair, and so on, the loaf. But he's not going to just wave it. Okay, let me just wave this to you. No, you're going to present them. You present them solemnly. You don't wave them around like you're, I don't know, having a seizure or something. Because you know what? I think that those are very, we have to be careful. I'm not saying I know anything, I know everything about offerings, but it just doesn't say wave. It says present them. It doesn't say wave. It says present. Okay, so let's be careful. Maybe that could be a pagan thing where they wave things. I'm not sure. But it'll be interesting to look into that. Verse 21, I believe this is nice and official sounding. So let's read this in both versions. This is the law of the Nazarite who has vowed, and of his offering to Yahweh for a separation beside that his hand shall get, according to the vow which he vowed. So he must do after the law of his separation. It's a lot there. Let's look at the Septuagint. This is the law of the votary who shall have vowed to Yah his gift to Yah concerning his vow, besides what he may be able to afford, according to the value of his vow. So he's not just getting things and stealing them. No, he's paying uh, with his honest wage, which he may have vowed according to the law of separation. Okay, so what are the differences here? Again, law of the votary versus Nazarite. His gift to Yah concerning his vow versus his offering to Yah for a separation. So again, we can see gift and offering are the differences, and uh, his vow is his separation and what he may be able to afford versus that his hand shall get, which as I just mentioned. And again, one is paid by what he earned and the other could be stolen. I mean, there's a little loophole there, let's be honest. And the last verse we're looking at is verse 25. Okay, this is the Aaronic blessing memory section of scripture. Almost everybody knows this in the Messianic community, and even outside of that community. Even those of the Yehudim know this one. We see here in the Masoretic, it says, be gracious to you, to thee. May, it says, Yah make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The only difference here is the word gracious is actually mercy. They're both very similar anyhow. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you very much for your time. May Yah bless you and make your way prosperous. Tune in for our next video. We're trying to do them every day. Numbers chapter 7 will be next. So thank you very much for your time. You've been watching Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Shalom and peace be with you.